It's CC, CEO. Wanna change your life? Come see me, yo. I'ma teach you how to build up wealth for your family, not just for yourself. I'm a bestseller, a house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a goal builder that could teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychology black-owned firm, but we ain't all black.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Constance Carter. How's everybody doing out tonight on this Monday night? I'm so excited about being with you, all of you, and you too on Fly Nubian Queen, the network for melanated women and men just like you. It's another week, and make sure that you are following me every single night, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 on the Central Standard Time, because I come to you live and direct every night, and I want to always just give you some gems. If you are just being introduced to me, my name is Constance Carter, and I am the CEO of Catalyst Real Estate Professionals. You can't see it, but Catalyst Real Estate Professionals. And we're the largest African-American-owned real estate firm in California. And so I'm also CEO of the Co-op Spot, which is a co-working space out in Sacramento. It's one of the largest co-working spaces in Sacramento. And I also do a lot of things. I write books, and I'm an investor, and I'm a house flipper and a commercial investor, cannabis investor, a lot of different things. Got my hands in a lot of different pots. Because in order to create wealth in this country, in this life, is you have to have multiple revenue streams. And so I'm going to talk to you about that today. But before we start talking, I want you to make sure that you text the word Queens to 31996 so that you can get all the alerts for Fly Nubian Queen. And also, I want to make sure that you are subscribing to our YouTube page, Fly Nubian Queen on YouTube. Nobody works harder than Constance Carter on YouTube. Go to my Instagram. I just did a little TikTok today. It's like I do TikToks every now and then. And so I did a TikTok today, trying to just do something different. My daughter was like, Mom, this is what you should do. Go do a TikTok, this. And I'm like, okay. So I tried it out. I did a little TikTok. So go to I Am Constance Carter and let me know what you think about my little TikTok that I did today. It was based upon the song that we just did. But I want to talk to you today about this book that I know. And I know the reason why you're tuning in today is because you have a book inside you. And a lot of you have books inside of you. A lot of people have been wanting to write books for so long, but you just don't know where to start. Some of you have been talking about writing a book for 10 years, and you're just trying to get your bearings. You're trying to get stuff together because you have a lot to say. Some of you had just, it just crossed your mind about writing a book, and you think that that somebody needs to hear your voice, or you want to have a word that can go down in history that they can never take away because it's in a book. Well, listen, I just want to tell you to write that book. Write the book, that book that's been in your heart, that book that's been in your spirit. Write it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. But we're going to talk about how. Now, what qualifies me to say this is because I'm an author. Let me tell you my story. I never had any desire at all whatsoever to write a book, ever. I never had the desire to write a book. I never was interested. Somebody told me, hey, Constance, you should write a book. And so I did. And that's kind of how it happens. That's kind of how everything happens in my life, right? People tell me that I should do something, and I do. I'm not the big ideation person. I don't have the biggest ideas, but I do execute. And that's one thing that you'll always know about me is I'm a person who is, if somebody has a good idea, I'm going to execute on it. I always try to surround myself around really, really smart people so that I can execute. So I can get ideas, but that just was never in me. I had no desire at all to ever be an author ever in my life. And somebody, a friend of mine came to my office one day and she said, you should write a book. And I was like, okay. So I went home early, I think the next day, and I sat down and I wrote my first book, which is called Keeping Score. What you need to know to make your credit score grow. Right. I wrote this book, very easy book to read. Like, look at it. Super easy to read, like double spaced. Right. But it's powerful. It ended up becoming a bestseller. right? This is just me sitting down, and this is actually the third revision of this book. So if you bought my book earlier, the cover looks a lot different. I've done 3 revisions. I try to update it as, different things come up with credit, different rules change about credit. So I last updated this maybe about 2 years ago, but I just did it. And what I did, guys, is it was not rocket science. I went home and I just started writing. And so when people tell me that they want to write a book, you know what I tell them? Just start writing. That's it. Don't think about the format. Don't think about the chapters. Don't think about any of that stuff, because you can rearrange that stuff later. Whatever is in you, just get it out. Just start writing. Write. Now, if you're not a great writer, you can have a ghostwriter. You can have an editor. You can have you can resource yourself out so that you can have somebody help you to speak your voice, right? Because I wrote another book with 2 of my girlfriends. It's called One. We must overcome obstacles, never give up to have our best year ever. And the way this came about is my 2 girlfriends, I wasn't there, but my 2 girls were they went to a conference. And we always used to go everywhere together. We used to travel everywhere together, and we used to go to these different conferences, and always trying to learn, in an effort to learn. And one of our good friends, Trevor Otts, they were talking to him, and they were just telling them, he was asking what we were doing, and they were telling him. And, I was always talking about how to overcome obstacles, because we were out speaking. We were on the speaking circuit. I was talking about overcoming obstacles. Tanasha was talking about you never give up. You could just keep going. And Sheila's theme was, how to create your best life. So he came up. Trevor is a genius. Trevor Otts, if you don't know him, he's a genius. But he said, okay, that sounds like ONE, overcoming obstacles, never give up, on the road to having your best year ever. And we came up with this book. But on this particular book, we hired somebody to we submitted our writing, and he helped us write this book. And so we had somebody who we outsourced to kind of speak our voice for us. And it's a great book as well. This book was totally me, totally on my own. This one was totally, we wrote our outlines, but then somebody else came and they kind of helped us make it sound pretty, right? And sometimes you might need that. And that's okay, because it was still our voices, but it's just somebody else who was better at creative writing than we were. And both of this book right here, though, straight bestseller. Now, there are a lot of people that have bestsellers out there, and bestseller does not mean it's really a bestseller. This is a bestseller because it sold a lot of books. But a lot of people, they'll come out and they'll say, oh, this is a bestseller. And they'll be in some obscure category, because the way you can get bestseller status is you put your book in some obscure category that nobody else is in at a certain time. And if you have more books sold than somebody else in that category, that's how you're a bestseller. I ain't talking about that. I don't want you to be that kind of bestseller, because that doesn't really impact anybody. Nobody really has your information. The type of bestseller that you need to be is something that people are getting. People's lives are being impacted and changed. Okay. So write something that's going to be great content, that's going to be life-changing. Then you promote it. But going back, you don't have to overthink the process, because if you're a good writer, which I'm okay. I'm an okay writer. I'm not the best writer, but I'm an okay writer. I was good enough to kind of get through some things. And I was able to write, and I was looking on Amazon today. There's like 103 reviews, all pretty much great reviews. There's a couple of reviews. Like one person said, I wish you would have talked more about investing, and they didn't give me 4 stars or 5 stars. Like, this book is not about investing. It's about credit. But that's okay, right? Because you're not going to get all 100% everybody likes you. But for the most part, like 99% of the ratings are great. And the biggest thing is people's lives were impacted by the words that were put in this book. Okay. So listen, and I'm just talking about credit. And it's helped people increase their credit score 50, 60, 100 points. That's great. So then listen, the reason why I wrote books is because my life, everything that I've been through, all the obstacles that I've been through, I wanted to help somebody else, because I believe that your hardship should be the blueprint to help somebody else. And so that's the reason why I put these things in books. And then I wrote this book, The Secret to Breaking the Broke Code. And this particular book, I think it's one of my best writings because I really go deep and I talk about, my past, where my parents came from, how that all happened and how I got to where I am from, humble beginnings to, starting off really well, to going broke, to being homeless, to being bankrupt, to losing homes and my cars and all of that stuff. And then being able to pick myself up and get to where I am today. Again, my hardships being the blueprint to help somebody else. And just telling the secret of what it means to how you can break being broke. And I'm not talking about just broke financially, but I'm talking about broke mentally. I'm talking about bankrupt spiritually. How to overcome that. So you have something that people need to hear. And you are sitting on this thing that somebody needs to hear. And what do? You just start writing. Hello, Sherry. You said you've been wanting to write a book for the last 2 years. You just start writing. Then once you write, then you can get an editor. You can go over to Upwork. You can go over to Fiverr. You can get somebody to edit the book. This book right here, Keeping Score, got an editor from Fiverr. No. Editor from Upwork. Paid a few $100s. She was a chick from like Australia. Now she was pretty cool, but then some of their verbiage is a little different from ours. So then I had to correct some of the stuff that she corrected. But it was cool because what she did is she said, okay, this is a great book. I learned a lot, even though they don't have the same credit system that they have over there. She was like, but what about the history of credit? Where did it come from? And so I said, okay. So she just gave me some ideas of more things that I should put in the book to make it much more robust. So then that you really understand, okay, what is the history of credit? Why does it work? Why is it important? And then how does it work? And then how can you get back on track? And so I just used somebody from Upwork, UPWORK, and she edited my book. And then I ended up publishing it myself. All of these books are self-published, right? So what we did is after I wrote it, I ended up formatting. And you talk about hours and hours and hours of work. Now I probably could have had somebody from Fiverr format it for me. I'm sure for way cheaper. I spent too much time doing that, but I figured out how to format. And then I got somebody from Fiverr to do the covers of these books. Fiverr, Fiverr. They did the covers for both of these books. They did my cover. Somebody on Fiverr uploaded for Amazon on KDP for Amazon. I did it all myself. Uploaded it, and then I started promoting it. And voila, I have a book. So a lot of people don't think that they're capable. A lot of people are too afraid to start because now it's become an overwhelming task. And I say, listen, just start writing. It doesn't have to be perfect. Do not wait for perfection, because if you wait for perfection, perfection will never happen. Second book I wrote it in a matter, the outline in a matter of a weekend. But just sit down, take some time, say, you know what, this is what I did for Keeping Score. I said, okay, I'm gonna just sit. I went home, work early. I left at 3. Now that's really early for me because I used to get in at 7 and didn't leave till 9, 10 o'clock at night. But I left work at 3 o'clock. And when I got home, because I'm about 5-10 minutes away from my office, I wrote from 3 probably to 3 the next morning, just 12 hours straight, just wrote. And I took care of the outline. Now this book is about 100 pages, 110, 100 pages or something like that, right? 108 pages. And I just wrote. And then I added to, and then I formatted later. And then I thought about the chapters, but I just did a brain dump of all my knowledge and just put it down on paper and just wrote. And then I figured out how to organize it. So I just want to encourage you today, that book that you have on the inside of you, the only thing that you got to do is start it. You can start dictating on your phone. There's a program called Otter, an app called Otter. You can start just talking on your phone and it'll dictate what you said. That's easy. Me, I need to type. But there are just different tools that you can use. There's no excuse, really, for you to not write your book. There's not any excuse at all. The only thing is you just got to do it. The only thing is you just have to do it. And I know that so many of you have friends that need to hear this. So I want to make sure that you share this on your page because people need to hear this information. See, Hannah said she wrote half her stuff on Otter. People need to hear this because you have a friend that's been talking about writing a book, or you have a friend that you said, you know what, girl, you've been through a lot. Dude, you've been through a lot. You need to write this book. So make sure you give this information. You share this video right now on your page, in your groups, to people who need to hear this. Because somebody needs to be encouraged today. Somebody got a book on the inside of them that they've been sitting and waiting on because they just simply don't know how to do it. Or they're not motivated to do it. But somebody somewhere needs to hear your voice. Let me tell you something. Every time I go somewhere and speak, and look, y'all, a lot of you guys don't even know who I am, right? But a lot of times I'll go somewhere and speak, and people will come up to me and say, I got your book. And I'm like, what? Like, people I don't even know? The thing you put in a book will transcend you. It transcends you. So there are people that, of course, I mean, it's sold thousands and thousands of copies, right? So of course there are people that have it that I don't even know, but it still surprises me when people come up to me and go, I got your book. I got your first book. I got this book. Like, that is such an amazing feeling. Oh my God, your book has helped me in this way or in that way. Wow. People that I don't even know. So, I mean, imagine the lives that you could impact. Imagine the lives that you could change if you would just get out of your own head. Quit limiting yourselves on what you think that you can't do and just do it. I want to make sure that you every single day are doing something that is geared towards improving your life or improving the lives of somebody else. And that book that you have on the inside of you, baby, somebody needs to hear your story. You got a skill set that somebody needs to know about. I even did a workbook. Oh yeah, I forgot even to talk to you about my workbook. This is a credit workbook, right? This took me a while to do because this is pretty cool. But basically, this is a workbook about credit. Now, this is like, I'm helping you. I'm giving you homework. I'm just showing you what to do, exactly what to do to get your credit. So you got writing it, you got homework, all this stuff. And this is like $19 on sale. It's normally $49. But this is like, all of this stuff it's really, it's not just telling my story, but it's really to help enhance somebody else's life. And when you know that your purpose, the purpose that you have in life is bigger than you, you have no choice but to act on it. You have no choice but to do what God has told you to do. So if God gave you something, and if you don't do it, God's will be done. Just may not be through you. And don't get mad when you see somebody else operating the thing that you know that you were supposed to be doing because you weren't obedient. The Bible says obedience is better than sacrifice. So you need to be obedient to what you're supposed to be doing so that you can create a change in somebody else's life. So I just wanted to encourage you tonight. Jamel, you can purchase my books on Amazon. Let me see if I could put it in my book. You can purchase my books on Amazon, and check them out. Check them out. They're great books. I mean, I put my blood, sweat, and tears into them. I stayed up late at night. Days and days. But I just really did it because I wanted to help somebody else. And I think that should be your motivating factor. It's not just about you, LaShawn. It's not just about you, Jamel. It's not just about you, Diane. Start today, because whatever you put on your pen to your pad is going to be there to help somebody else. So before I go, again, I want to make sure that you have subscribed to Fly New Being Queen. Hey, check it out. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a Q&A. I don't know if you know, but I have partnered with Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I do a Q&A every Tuesday at 5 Pacific on ConstanceCarterVIP.com. So make sure you subscribe to that. So if you want to get any further information, if you have further questions on anything that I'm talking about, I want you to subscribe to Constance Carter VIP so that we can talk about it. Because I got, whatever I have, I want to be able to give to you. So make sure you get on Constance Carter VIP and subscribe. And sure enough, make sure you share all of this information. Subscribe to Nobody Works Harder Than Constance Carter, my YouTube page. Come on over to Facebook and then follow me over there too, because I got some really great information. And don't forget to go to my Instagram page and go to I Am Constance Carter. Make sure you follow me over there. Support everything I'm doing, and I will support you back. Okay. I thank you for tuning in. And hopefully this information that I gave to you tonight will help change your life, because that's all I'm on here for. Only thing I ever want to do is give you information that's going to help impact you and help impact the world. Take care and God bless.
Yeah, it's CC, CEO. Wanna change your life? Come see me, yo. I'ma teach you how to build up wealth for your family, not just for yourself. I'm a bestseller, a house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a goal builder that can teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at